Well, it's Christochat, and today we're talking about another Game Boy. Now, I know I've been talking about Game Boys a lot, and I am in the works of reviewing every Game Boy ever. However, I'd like to make an individual episode on a particular Game Boy for a particular reason. That would be the Game Boy Micro. Now, the Game Boy Micro is one that I'm actually warming up to. Funny enough, it has a lot of negative stigma around it because of a particularly bad issue with, having really low value. So, basically, it's a really low value Game Boy in the sense that it's not compatible with previous Game Boy games, not compatible with most accessories because of a proprietary external port. And just in general, it's just not a very high value Game Boy because of how large the price is compared to the usage of the device itself. One thing it has going for it is how pretty it is. And I would like to say that I've taken advantage of that. As you can see, I took off the faceplate because the faceplates are stupid. No, I'm joking. I actually went with a site called Decal Girl, if you want to check them out. It's just Decal Girl, no spaces. Really great site, by the way. Really well made. Anyways, on that site, I actually got a custom faceplate decal that overlays over a faceplate of your choice. You just put it on top. And that faceplate, I'm sure most of you can already see where this is going. If you follow my Instagram, or most of you can already see where this is going if, you see how much I try to brand my channel, is of course a Christochat themed faceplate, making this the only Christochat edition Game Boy Micro. Now, if you would like to make yourself a Christochat edition Game Boy Micro, I will send you the Adobe Draw file of the Christochat logo. You must tilt it to 22 degrees. That is how much the tilt is on my logo. And then you must overlay it behind the buttons right here and the screen. It'll by default be really big, and most of the logo will be cut off at the top and the bottom, so you'll have to shrink it a little bit. Anyways, aside from the fact that I made this a Christochat edition Game Boy, I'd like to talk about the Game Boy Micro as a whole, as it's a pretty interesting case, being it has a very nice screen, and overall it's just a beautiful console. If I had to pick any Game Boy to play for the rest of my life, it would not be the Game Boy Micro. But the Game Boy Micro comes at a close third. Of course, the one that I would pick is the GBASP, so that I can play all of my games. Followed up by the original Game Boy, because I have so much nostalgia with it. And then you got this little guy. It's great. Now, one thing I did notice is that the D-pad and all the buttons in general still need to be broken in, which is kind of funny considering that this is a console that's already a good bit old. But I noticed that I don't have it broken in the sense where I still need to give it a little bit more usage. It's been in the dust for a while, so it hasn't had an opportunity to undustify itself. And that's a pretty easy fix of just using it. But yeah, so that's the Game Boy Micro, and that is our little mini vid on it. But other than that, the aesthetics of this console are awesome. Now, this is the silver version, and the exterior was in pretty rough condition, full honesty. So the decals, I also have a back decal that I have actually cut myself because there was no cut for the battery panel. It's a bit of a messy cut, but I'll have to adjust that. But yeah, It's also Christochat themed, as you can see. And overall, it's just really nice aesthetically. You got silver on silver, which is always an all-star pairing. Name a more iconic duo, I'll wait. But yeah, it's a pretty looking console. Now, Christochat, you might be asking, how do I get a Game Boy Micro? On eBay. Game Boy Micros are pretty scarce. Only 2 million of these sold. So to find one usually runs you about $200. You could buy a 3DS XL for that amount of money. It's really embarrassing. But, you know, if you're a Game Boy enthusiast like myself, the Game Boy Micro is definitely worth it. A couple of interesting notes. It has a proprietary external port, which makes it incompatible with almost everything. So it's really not worth the purchase. But if you're an enthusiast and you want an interesting experience, pick up a Micro. You can buy the Famicom edition, which is usually the cheapest one you'll find. It's stylized like a Famicom controller, and it was one of the most sold units. So you'll find a lot of those compared to like stuff like the silver or black or red or blue, stuff like that. But this is by far the prettiest looking Nintendo console, especially now that it's the Christochat edition. All jokes aside, this is a very pretty console. So if you're looking for, honestly, going by what it was originally intended to be, if you're looking for a fashion piece, the Game Boy Micro is a very good fashion statement for Game Boy fans. But yeah, it's just overall a really tiny Game Boy. It really has to be seen to be believed. You have no idea how small this thing is. I mean, I have big hands, but here, I'll use my phone case. My phone is a Moto G stylus. So, there you go. There it is inside my phone case. You can see it compared to the size of a Moto G stylus. It's tiny. So, take that information as you will. Yeah. Just, if you're interested, go pick up a Game Boy Micro. They're really cool.